for today's cup of coffee.
A cup of coffee. It's freezing.
It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day, but it's cold.
And I have had an epiphany. Actually, we're recording this on the 13th.
It's the day before Valentine's Day.
It is when we're recording it, but happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I have had an epiphany. And it's like, I don't understand. And I have wondered this for a very, very long time. To stay with me because I've been off terror for days. So this is, what is it? Neurodivergent? Is that what it is?
Neuroatypical. Neurospicy. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You can thank my generation for that.
So I had this simple question. What are the origins of Valentine's Day? And all I could find was this convoluted, woke bullshit.
Mm-hmm. That did not tell.
Nothing. And it was just maddening.
I think Valentine's Day was generated due to commercialism.
Partially. And then it was a matter that possibly that there was a Christian martyr. This is part of the mythology. And it would have been fine if they had said this is the mythology and it, linked it with Roman, whatever it was, pagan ceremony, because, some of that stuff did happen.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and it was like that the Romans didn't want to sanction marriages, and so Saint Valentine, and they do not want to use the word saint, found that out.
Why not?
Because it connotes Christianity in some form. And
do they not understand that there's saints in other religions too?
No, apparently not.
So it's very
specific.
Their logic is very flawed with that thinking there.
There is no logic. That's part of what makes it so maddening. But that he was performing marriages and different things like that, and that he would carry notes from, lovers and stuff like that when one was imprisoned or anything like that. Because, let's face it, Christianity, you had a lot of people that were the early first century believers, and they didn't fare too well.
No.
Especially the Romans, and it's like the dude that used them as torches in his garden and all that stuff. But anyhow, that Saint Valentine was beheaded.
Oh. Damn.
And so it was one of those things that over the years, that mythos of it, and like I said, the things that I had read were just maddening.
I bet.
Because it was this bitterness and this hatred towards anything to do with this holiday or whatever. And there's so many people, and it's like, I sit there and I pondered it, and I'm thinking, why? And a lot of it is because these people are wounded. They're very, very wounded.
Because you were reading that article, and it was like, something that they said in specific, because it was like, oh, that makes sense why you wrote it that way now. You're very bitter.
They were bitter. But my epiphany came from the fact that it's like, I don't understand this. And this thing about logic, because I am a very logical person. And was talking to Omega about this. And it's like, I don't understand the world today. And it's like, because everybody's doing everything illogically. And I thought, oh, God. I am the binary code. It's me. It's me.
Just a little bit of autism. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of the tisms.
Because...
That's okay, because ADHD and autism usually go that.
I have heard that. Yeah. And what it is just people who think differently.
It's the neurodivergent people.
Right.
Neurospicy.
But you also have, and that was something I was telling you about also, where the research from Cups back, as far as the frontal lobe shrinkage and the executive function, and that also has to do with the emotional, regulation. So you've got a lot of adults. They look like adults, but they still infantile.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's causing problems. Lots of problems.
And it's one thing to be a functioning adult and still do kid-like things. Like for
There's a difference between childlike and childish.
yeah.
Childish, you pray to God somebody outgrows. Childlike, everybody wants to keep some of that. And Shel Silverstein understood that, and
Yeah.
God love him.
Yeah. But some of these people are not being childlike, they're being childish.
Yes. Childish, very childish.
Mm-hmm. And that's like throwing tantrums and shit like that.
Oh, and the reeing, and the screeching, and the harpying.
That's the tantrums.
Yeah. And what is horrible is that you've got females, we have a tendency to be more emotional anyhow. Mm-hmm. I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart. And so that negates, that's the reason as far as that yin and that yang and that male and that female, you need that because men have a tendency to be more logical. Mm-hmm. Not all of them. And it's like the world has gotten so convoluted, I have to put a fucking disclaimer on any thought that I have. Because somebody somewhere is going to be butthurt over something. I am here to offend. I found that out.
It depends on what it is.
Not intentionally. Truth offends people. Mm-hmm. Which is why they're trying to avoid it at all costs.
Well, I think it's also how it's put, because you can tell someone the truth and still put it in a relatively gentle way, or there's the people that are completely indelicate and just give it bluntly.
Well, those of us that like
and
I
that
said,
is kind of harsh.
Old school AA, let me tell you something, you've got that shock value, it'll stick with you.
Yeah, it definitely will.
You know, that pat them on the head, pat them on the butt, all that stuff, give them a cookie, that a lot of times does not stay with you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people do need that tough love.
That used to be a thing.
Tough love?
Yeah. That was a whole movement. You don't have to bludgeon somebody with truth. Mm-mm. And God love her, I had a friend, she was brutal. You think I'm bad? No, she was brutal. And she's like, I'm just telling them the truth. I mean, she would cut somebody to the bone, and everything she said was true. And it's like, honey, you have to temper this with love. I didn't know at the time she had an addiction issue. That explained a whole lot, because if you got somebody that's on some of these painkillers, that numbs the emotions a whole lot. And I still love her. I haven't seen her in many years and still love her. But on this day that is supposed to be about love, and like everything else in our society right now has just it's been turned on its head.
Friends can be Valentines.
Absolutely they can. And that was what I found, a relatively non-controversial article. And it was a website called Loner Wolf, which was pretty cool. And it's by someone named Mateo.
Okay.
November 16th of 2023. And the 8 different types of love according to the ancient Greeks. Now, I was just familiar with like 4. Mm-hmm. But this is a very well written article. And of course, the links will be in the description box, because this is somebody else's work and I'm not going to take credit for somebody else's work. And he says that the 8 different types of love, one of them is what is so overused, which is eros, or the erotic love.
Yeah.
And my God, people need to stop over-sexualizing everything.
They do.
Stop it.
They do.
Just stop it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you can look beautiful without showing everything.
Right. Because it takes away that mystique. That's the difference between somebody that's a stripper and somebody that is a burlesque dancer.
Marilyn Monroe, that custom diamond dress, that Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress. That is an example of that.
Well, that was that sensuality. Mm-hmm. When you've left nothing to the imagination, you have nothing else to show.
Right. Right.
So what else have you got? You've played you've shown all your cards.
Mm-hmm. I think people need to take inspiration from old Hollywood again.
I think they need to take it from Victorian England. Let's bring some little steampunk in here. I can do that with my Gothic world. I very easily can do that.
Well, there's not much There's quite a bit of bleed through between goths and steampunk.
Well, yeah. But it is that elegance and that style, as opposed to walking around where you've got everything
Or that romantic
showing.
gothic style.
Yes, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was that. But like I said, this is something that has been so overkilled. Misused is exactly what it has been.
Misused and abused.
Mm-hmm. And then you had philia. It's like Philadelphia. That's where that came from.
I was thinking Ophelia.
Affectionate love, which is Philadelphia, I think it meant like city of brotherly love.
Okay.
It
Cool.
used to be.
Yeah.
It was cool. Till everybody started hating everybody else.
Well, that was because of the devil.
Well, that's why everything is on its ears, because of the devil. And, with that, and Plato says here that he felt that physical attraction was not a necessary part of love. And so it's, this is like platonic love. Mm-hmm. This is friends.
Yeah.
You know, that is something that is, again, maddening. That trying to force a situation or whatever, and these poison pens or poison keyboards.
Trying to make something out of nothing.
Right.
When just leave it as is.
Yeah. But that's their job, is to sit and be nosy busybodies. That's why people despise the paparazzi. They've earned that hatred. Mm-hmm. They work hard at that. Mm-hmm. And I hope that the blood money, I hope they spend it well.
I mean, they live off of people's misery.
Absolutely. They're doing the devil's work, and they're doing it well. There's this one that I wasn't familiar with, and it's Storge, Storge. I didn't have Greek.
Not familiar.
It's familial love. Like family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. It's like, we can fight amongst ourselves, but anybody else comes in, no, you do not want to get in the middle of a domestic dispute, because you will get hurt.
Yeah, you will get hurt.
And this is what's happening on the world stage right now.
It's just like, you let the family go work at it. That's like some of the people put their, like, there's a Reddit where people can anonymously post their family stories and such like that, like
right.
Dramatic and traumatic
Sure.
family stories. And it's like, should you be posting this on the internet though?
Right.
And then the comments, it's like some of them, I don't know, rather than like giving them mercy or something like that. No.
Why would they be expecting mercy from total strangers on the internet?
Like people telling the person basically not to show mercy or whatever. And it's like, what kind of people are you?
Right. Because it's not them. It's not them. And like I said, we're seeing this shit play out on the world stage.
We are.
And it's like, you don't step into somebody else's domestic dispute unless you're asked to. Mm-hmm. And even then, you've got to be discerning.
Yeah.
And now this other one I wasn't familiar with either. It's called Ludus, Ludus.
Luda.
And he said that this is the feeling when you first go through the early stages of falling in love with someone. And that fluttering heart and flirting and teasing and feelings of euphoria. It's a very fleeting thing.
It is.
And it is supposed to grow into other points of love. Mm-hmm. Love moves. It's like beauty.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's wanting that dopamine hit. And these damned apps and these people looking for love. No, you're looking for an STD, and you will find it because it's in epidemic proportions out there. Mm-hmm. That is not love. That's not. Lust. Having sex with someone is not loving someone. And these young people don't know the difference.
Nope. A lot of them do not.
And as far as number 5, he's saying is mania, which I hadn't thought about that before. And this is this obsessive love. Taylor Swift's people came to mind on that.
Oh, cult. Cult.
And it says on this, to those who experience mania, love itself is a means of rescuing themselves, a reinforcement of their own value as the sufferer of poor self-esteem. This person wants to love and be loved to find a sense of self-value. Because of this, they become possessive and jealous lovers, feeling as though they desperately need their partners. This type of shit leads to codependency.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's some, you can get in some shit shows on that.
That sort of leads into stalkers and all that shit. And that's scary.
Yeah, it can be. Then this other one is called pragma, or enduring love. It says that it's a love that has aged, matured, and developed over time. It is beyond the physical, it has transcended the casual, and it is a unique harmony that has formed over time. It says that you can find pragma in married couples who've been together for a long time, or in friendships that have endured for decades. It says, unfortunately, pragma is a type of love that is not easily found. I don't know that you find these things. I think you cultivate them.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, would have to be developed rather than found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then this other one is, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. It's self-love. Because that one's just beyond me on the Greek on that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, those words, those letters are not supposed to go together like that. It says that the Greeks understood that in order to care for others, we must first learn to care for ourselves. This form of self-love is not the unhealthy vanity and self-obsession that is focused on personal fame, gain, and fortune, as in the case with narcissism. Instead, it is a self-love in its healthiest form. It shares the Buddhist philosophy of self-compassion. I was not familiar with that. But it reminded me, as far as the words of Christ, love others as you love yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay, those of us who have difficulty loving ourselves, we kind of struggle with that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it says,
I think that's a stone that the devil has thrown into our spokes.
I think so. I really think so. And it says that self-compassion is a deep understanding that only once you have the strength to love yourself and feel comfortable in your own skin, will you be able to provide love to others. Oh, shit. That's the reason we're going to have to do this showing of the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Is facing that demon.
Yeah. We working on it.
We working on it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I never said it's going to be easy, but I have never picked the easy road, have I?
You saw the contract.
I did.
You saw what God was offering you, and you were like, yeah, I'll take that. That sounds fun.
That's what Robert Phoenix on some points, he's like, yeah, it's kind of rough. And I'm like, yeah. And it says, you cannot share what you do not have. If you do not love yourself, you cannot love anyone else either. Now, I beg to differ on some of that. You may not be able to do to the fullest extent, but it is within my philosophy, and we'll get to this here in a minute, that it is a matter of loving others more than self. That doesn't mean I don't love myself. I'm not out here abusing myself. Mm-hmm. And this is what gets me about all these people that are so superficial and shallow about other people's looks, because they're superficial and shallow also. And it's like, well, you're getting what you wanted, so why are you bitching? Mm-hmm. That there are a lot of amazing people out there that they don't look like the 1%. Because they're too busy doing for the 99. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those are the people of value. Those are the people of virtue. Mm-hmm. And so the other ones, if they want a size nothing, that's got a heart of stone, have at it. They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Go again on those apps, and you can get the free STD that goes along with it. And then, then the last
you
one,
can get tested.
yeah. And then this last one is what you strive for, and that is agape love. And those of us that follow Christ, that is what we strive for. And that is the highest and most radical type of love according to the Greeks. That's according to the Christians too, the followers of Christ, the believers. They actually, the early Christians, they did not call themselves Christians. They called themselves, the followers of the way. Mm-hmm. So even that was changed. And it was selfless, unconditional love. And this type of love is not the sentimental outpouring that often passes as for love in their society. It has nothing to do with the condition-based type of love that our sex-obsessed culture tries to pass as love. God bless this young man. He gets it.
Yeah.
Agape is what some call spiritual love. It is bigger than ourselves. It's a boundless compassion and infinite empathy. It's what the Buddhists describe as, I think it's metta, or universal loving kindness. It is the purest form of love that is free from desires and expectations and loves regardless of the flaws and the shortcomings of others. Mm-hmm. That is what we try to achieve.
Yeah, that's what we strive to get.
Yeah. And it is that 70 times 7. And if you don't know about the 70 times 7, there was one of the apostles came to Christ and he's like, how many times should we forgive our brother? And it was a matter that the brother had to ask for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. It's like, do we give them 5, 10, 15 times we forgive them? And Christ said 70 times 7. Which means if somebody does something horrible, if they truly repented of it, and for whatever reason they do something else horrible and come back and repent, you forgive them. Mm-hmm. God has held our feet to the fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other one that I had is something that I have not read the actual book. And this article, I found one article and had copied and pasted it and did all that bullshit. And then got to the last couple of paragraphs and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is APA format. It's all written in APA format, which is just stupid that these people do not know how to develop original thought while citing sources. As old school, we had footnotes, but we also we're taught to think for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And to also write in your style.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And now they do not encourage even an inkling of their own personality in their articles.
They don't even write them because the AI is writing them for them.
Yeah.
So what good? This is why these people are losing their jobs.
A lot of them, yeah.
When you build your house on sand, this is what happens. But anyhow, the link I will give you is from Forbes. And there was very loosely going to cite this because they wouldn't even use the source, the original source. They had all these other people come in and give their interpretation of it. Uh-huh.
What now?
Yeah.
For what reason?
You may tell you why, because I think the man was a Christian. And his name was, he was a PhD, he was a marriage counselor named Gary Chapman. And he published, it's called Love Languages, or the 5 Love Languages, and it was in 1992.
Okay.
And, it says The Secret to Love That Lasts. And I have heard I've heard my own therapist, reference this, because this gentleman, he kept seeing that there were differences in how people expressed love.
Different love languages.
Yes. And you have to understand how other people, what their love language is, because there can be, it can get lost in translation.
It can.
And one of them was words of affirmation. And that this language consists of encouraging positive words, verbal or written acknowledges of love and care. Another one, acts of service. If your actions speak louder than words, then this is what your love language is. Mm-hmm. Another one was receiving gifts. That somebody will just randomly buy somebody something because they love them. That is, if they have trouble expressing themselves verbally, mm-hmm. to just sit there and go, here, I thought of you. It doesn't matter if it's a stick of gum or what.
Yeah.
This is why gratitude.
Yeah.
Quality time. This is something everybody or most people are starved for. And the last one, physical touch. Those last two is what has gotten our world in crisis.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Nobody hugs each other anymore.
Right, because we're told that other people are dirty and they're diseased and that you can blah, blah, blah.
Well, that and it's dangerous or whatever. People are mean. People are cruel. People are bad, blah, 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 blah. All that shit. And in actuality, if literally somebody can stand on the side, be like, free hugs, some people will come up and take those free hugs.
But what if you've got the one asshole that comes up with the free... You would have to have cameras. Because you don't want somebody to come... They sexually assaulted me. That is unwanted touch or something like that.
Right,
I mean,
because it's so twisted. They're so twisted in the brain. For some reason, those people are. Yeah. And it's like, how the fuck did they even get to that mindset?
Right. Because they're captive of the enemy. Mm-hmm. Now remember that the forces of darkness are everything opposite of what God is. God is love. He is compassion. He is all these things.
Yes.
And one of the favorite... Let me look and see what time we got here because we're rolling long. We've been rolling long lately. It's all right. This is good and we're rolling. As far as what love is supposed to be within our philosophy, those of us that try to follow Christ. In 1 Corinthians 13, and this is something that when somebody does something shitty, you need to go back and remember this and read this and keep it close to you, because humans are fallible. Mm-hmm. We all are, And it says, if I speak in the tongues, this is the new NIV version of those, somebody going, you reading that new international version? Let me tell you something. God can speak through a cornflake box.
It's true. I mean, he's God. He can speak in any way that he would want.
Absolutely. Because you've got those King James only people, and it's like, no, don't do that. If somebody can read it and get something out of it and hear God's voice in it, leave them alone.
Right. It's like, why are you trying to put God in a box?
Right. Exactly. So, from the NIV, it says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Mm-hmm. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Mm-hmm. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now I see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we will see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. Now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
Mm-hmm. There's many people out there that need that. Many people out there that need to be reminded of that.
They need to be shown this.
They need
because one of the languages of God is action.
Mm-hmm.
Faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whereas the world has tried to pervert this holiday, we're going to celebrate it because we try to celebrate love every day.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter who you are out there, no matter what your circumstances, what you've done, if you've never given us a thumbs up, if you're the one over there on BitChute that you always giving us the thumbs up, guess what? We love you.
Yeah.
And there ain't nothing you can do about it.
We still love you if you're giving us those thumbs down.
That just means you need prayer more.
Yeah.
That or you trying to keep us on our toes, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We appreciate those because it's still engagement.
Oh, sure. Well, it's one of those, I just laugh about it, and I'm like, somebody's, it's the man who doesn't like the Pirates and the Vikings and whatever it is, and it's okay because we still love you.
Yo ho.
And these are hard times, folks. And like I said, if it's just the ramblings of a mountain goth and mountain goth kid, you got a place aboard this little ghost pirate ship.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a place that you're loved. You've got an email address, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, that if you need prayer,
mm-hmm.
and we will do that, we will pray.
Yeah.
Because we do that all day, every day.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to heart, we automatically, it's like, Lord, help them, be with them. We don't know the need, but you do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Final words, kid.
Show love. Show love.
Yeah.
Genuine love.
Even to those of us that are the binary code.
That's okay. Y'all just need a little bit more patience, and that's okay.
God. It's just like...
That's why I was like, are you intentionally obtuse?
No. It was, honestly, it was an epiphany for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the one. It's me. But we... Honestly, it
was a huge epiphany for you. It was like, oh shit, it just hit you.
I am glad that we don't have neighbors that are close to us.
I mean, they are close to us.
Well, it's about a quarter of a mile up the road.
Not even a quarter of a mile.
It's more. It is. It's about a quarter of a mile, and so this is why we would never want to be in an urban area, because here I am out on the front porch going, it's me. I'm the binary code. How many people in the random parts of the night have somebody else,
But see, that's the best. That's the good thing about living in areas like this, is because you are free to just be yourself in a way. Yeah.
And just all the weirdness and the silliness. And it's like, most of them know it's like, oh God, they're just being weird again. Mm-hmm. It's like, we know they've still got the skeletons. They know on the front porch. We know they all year long, but they could at least take the Santa Claus hats off of them. It's past on that.
It's Chinese New Year. It was
true.
Officially the Chinese New Year, so now we can take them off officially.
Okay. We're just making this shit up.
Yeah.
Everybody else makes it up. Why shouldn't we?
Right. That's it.
Yeah. If you've had experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids,
big feet.
Yeah.
Well, you got an encounter with the big feet.
We got a lovely big feet behind us now. You can send us cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
Yes. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, click that notification button. Even though it doesn't do anything, just give it a ding.
Matter.
Give it a ding. Thank you all.
Say a prayer for us.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of us, say a prayer for us.
Say a prayer for the other people as well.
Absolutely. Because there's so many people. If we had a world where people woke up and realized that they were loved, how different would that be?
Ask God to open their eyes and their hearts.
Yeah.
To that love.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you are loved. And Lord
Yes.
willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Thank you all. Have a good.
Bye.
Bye.